A man I admire an awful lot for many, many reasons, talent being least of which, and you could admire him on talent and career. Jon Voight joins us again. We're just looking at your list of movies that you have made in your life, John. Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Is there something in all of the movies that you've made, is there one thing that you're saying, that's when I had it? I had it that moment, that scene or that movie is I wish I could be that good all the time.
Well, I've had a lot of success in a variety of films, and they're like a little like part of the family, and you don't distinguish one from the other in a certain way. But no, I've been fortunate to work with very, very good directors. The director is the fellow who's the final say in most of this, and the people who, he supervises not only the shooting of the film, but the editing and the music and the final, mixing of the piece. So I've been very, very fortunate to work with very great directors.
When you were,
I started out with Midnight Cowboy. I worked with John Borman on Deliverance. I won an Academy Award for Coming Home. I did worked with a great Russian director, Andrei Konchalovsky, for Runaway Train. And then since then, I've done a lot of interesting films in which I wasn't quite the lead, but I certainly had an impact. And I've done very, very well, but also always it has to do with the directors.
Would you remember a time in Hollywood, and I want to get to Israel here in a second, but just one last question on this. Do you remember a time, because, 1969, you win your first Oscar, you were living at a time when Henry Fonda and John Wayne and Jimmy Stewart were still the men. Did you feel a change in Hollywood when those guys passed on?
Well, I did feel a change, and the change happened in the 60s when the values of this country were turned upside down. It was a very disturbing period of time, and it started out, I feel, with the assassination of our president, John Kennedy, and we were in trauma for a number of years, and the left moved in, and when I say the left, I mean Marxism moved in, and because a lot of those people who were in the streets, were being manipulated by communists. I mean, the big marches of the '60s, aside from the civil rights marches, these marches against the war were all orchestrated by communists. People don't realize that. SDS. Students for Democratic Society, which is a big left movement, had a meeting in Cuba with Castro. And anyway, a lot of things happened in the 60s, and I think that's where things turned upside down.
I wonder if we're in the same kind of period now that we recover or don't, because the same people now in their 60s are really behind a lot of the things that have turned our values upside down. I've never seen anything like it, John. I mean, I'm shocked that it happened, and I'm also shocked that there weren't 30,000 pastors alone standing in front of the Capitol building, standing up against this embrace of Iran over Israel. It's crazy.
Absolutely. I agree with you. People have been kind of stunned by this administration's lawlessness. They don't know what to do. I mean, look what's happening with Boehner leaving. I mean, I think he's finally a part of this recognition that we don't know what to do with this guy, So I'm going to step down. Maybe somebody else stronger can come and replace me, and maybe we can do something. Because on a daily basis, we're losing pieces of America.
Big time.